toughness. It's the chance a bad thing changes how you act in a way that's against your goals. That way we can take this big amorphous word and be like, well, what does it actually mean? It just means the percentage likelihood that when something bad happens, you change the way you act in a way that's not ideal. That means that mental toughness is no longer a do you have mental toughness or not, but instead it's how much mental toughness do you have. And so, for example, lots of mental toughness would be a low likelihood or a low chance of a negative impact on your behavior, as in like, high mental toughness, low mental toughness would be a high likelihood of negative impact on your behavior. I think there's a little typo here, but that's okay. Fundamentally, what we're trying to get into is how people respond to bad things, all right? And so once we have it defined, which is that the chance a bad thing happens to you, then we have to create an environment in which mental toughness can be exercised and then ideally measured, right? And when we do that, I can give you a visual so that you can start thinking about your own behavior within this context. So I drew this out, which is how we act when bad stuff happens. So let me walk you through each of these numbered little pieces here. So number one here, hopefully it's to the right of me, that's how you normally behave. So whatever your normal kind of baseline is, that's how you act every single day. Then at some point, a bad thing or enough bad things happen that it forces you to change how you behave. That's step two. Step three is, okay, once I've changed how I behave, how low do I go or how upset do I get, right? Number three. Then there's a certain period of time that elapses where you continue this bad behavior, and then you start coming up, you start recovering. That's the next period, which is number four. Number five is going to be bidirectional. Either you get better as a result of this hard thing or you get worse. And then number six, the last one there, is how much better did you get or how much worse did you get? And so this gives us kind of a framework to think through mental toughness, not as this like amorphous, like rah, 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 like beat your chest, like alpha masculinity thing, but really just how resilient are you as a human being, all right? And to be clear, when I say bad for the rest of our time, or really when you hear me say bad in general, I just mean against your preferences. There's something that happened that you wish didn't happen, and that's what makes it bad for our definition, okay? And so people mistakenly believe that mental toughness is one thing, and looking at the model that I just walked through, I believe that it's actually four separate components that make up mental toughness overall. So number one is tolerance, number two is fortitude, number three is resilience, and number four is adaptability. And so when we draw these out and we look at these visually, we have them looking like this. So each of these is a measured point in kind of this behavior frame. And so let's dive into all four, all right? So the first component of mental toughness in my model is tolerance. And to be clear, I don't think these words matter as much as the thing that they're measuring, all right? So the definitions matter far more than the label I'm ascribing to it. So your tolerance, which is this first part here, this is how much hardship, the number of hardships, or how long you can endure hardship. I keep wanting to say hardship before you have a change in behavior. All right, how much tough stuff can you go through before you crack? All right, before you snap, right? And so if you're somebody who has a long fuse, aka it takes a lot to rock your boat, you have high tolerance, right? It takes a lot of stuff before you just say like, screw it. Right? Whatever that moment is, that is your tolerance, how long that fuse is. And so as I'm going through these, I would love you to think for yourself like, okay, do I have high tolerance? Do I have medium tolerance? Do I have low tolerance? Because none of us is perfect. And so we can always, if we can start measuring the components of mental toughness for our own behavior, it means we begin the process of being able to improve it, right? So high tolerance is that first period. It's that the first kiss of hardship until eventually you crack. How long that fuse is, that is your tolerance.